Hi everyone, I'm Miriam Macri and I come from Italy, from the south of Italy in particular. Well, I work from English and German and also Spanish sometimes into Italian. And I'm a translator, interpreter, and copywriter. Thanks to Prods, I got a lot of benefits. Networking with colleagues, but also I got also the possibility to do mentoring meetings with young people who are trying now to approach the market. I love the blue board in Prods because it gives you the possibility to check if the possible leads are suggested or not loyal at all. Well, I think that Proud also gives you the possibility to do a lot of things. Invoicing, for example, but also finding for new job opportunities and new customers. I got different customers thanks to Proud, and I'm still collaborating with them. I'm specialized in business, automotive, tourism, and more. Well, I suggest to everyone to join the Prouds network because I think that this is a good opportunity to grow for you both personally and professionally. Even because Prouds gives you a lot of tools that of course can just improve the quality of your translation services, but also not just translation services, but language services in general. So I hope you can join our network and see you soon. Bye.
Hello, my name is Adrian. I'm a German translator from Switzerland, currently working with a beautiful view in Hungary, in the countryside. I am a long-time pros member already for many, many years. Especially in the beginning, it really helped me out immensely to get my career going. Nowadays, I don't spend that much time on the platform itself, but I still do benefit from especially three benefits massively. Number one being paid members get ranked higher in search than non-paying members, which means a lot of people contact me through the website and I can then see if this is actually beneficial for me or not. Number two is invoicing. I use their invoicing tool every month. Beginning of the month, I write my invoices with Pro's invoicing tool. It's perfect. I feel like it's tailored towards translators and I use it every month. And number three are the training resources. For the membership price that you pay anyways, you also get great resource for training, for especially in the beginning when you don't have that much work yet. You can really spend a lot of time on there and just do all the trainings, all the courses for free, basically included in the price. And also if you're a seasoned professional, there's always something, workshops, webinars, interesting things happening. So these three things are the main reason why I really enjoy paying for Pro's membership. And I think it's great for any translator out there, so highly recommend it.
Hi, I'm Romina Escarihuela, an English, Portuguese, and Spanish conference interpreter born and based in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I guess I've been a ProZ member for more than 10 years now, and it's a real pleasure for me to be part of this community. And if you are thinking about investing in this platform, I really encourage you to do so. When I started working as an interpreter, I decided to join first because I've got lots of resources with the glossaries and the queries that I could do and the questions that I could submit to the community. At that time, 10 years ago, I was working mostly as a translator, so it was wonderful to get more experience in working with ProZ at the time. And then I hit one of my most important interpreting clients through ProZ back in 2015, I guess. It was a multinational company that was looking for medical interpreters in the language combination of English and Portuguese in Buenos Aires, something that's very hard to find here. And well, I've been working for them ever since, now also remotely, not only in on-site events. And besides getting this wonderful client, I had the chance of meeting other colleagues who were looking, for other translators to build up a team. And those colleagues happen to be here in Buenos Aires as well. So it was a wonderful way of meeting other colleagues and start a new business relationship and getting a larger and larger network every day. So I really encourage you to do so. So, well, thank you very much for listening to my testimonial, and I hope to have encouraged you. And in case of any doubts, you can contact me directly. Cheers!
So, hi everybody. I hope that you're having a great day so far. I'm really happy to be here one more time with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Luana, and I'll be your host for today's event. So, before starting, I would like to give a brief introduction to Pros TV events in case that you are new to these events. To start with, if you are tuning in from the Pros page, you will see a chat box on the right hand of your screen. That it should be over here. And please, let's try to use it a little bit. I see that we already have a few comments over there, but please let me know from where you're tuning in and what time is it for you now. So far, I see a few comments. One from Ana. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ana, Rafaela, Paul Fate, Alejandro Basalote, Rachel, y Lorena. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please let me know from where you're logging in and what time is it for you so far. And let me also share to you that in case that you're not watching this TV event from the pros team, from the pros page, you can still. I think that you may be seeing this from the LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook or Instagram. And there you don't have the specific chat box, but you have the comment box. So please feel free to share any comments or questions in there. And any comments at all. I'll be happy to read you. Great. Sunny southern Spain, 6 p.m. Great. That's from Alejandro. Anna is from Italy, and it is 6 p.m. for her. That's great. Thank you so much. Let's continue with the brief introduction. So, yes, for those of you asking, yes, we are recording this TV event, and you will be able to watch it shortly after we are finished. Let me see. I see there is another comment. Yeah, it is from our team. That's great. Awesome. So please just take into consideration that the recording video will be available for everyone for the first 24 hours, and after this period of time, it will be only available for our membership subscribers. And in case that you have any issue watching the event or anything at all, please let us know in the comment section or in the comment box or in the chat box, or you can also submit a support ticket or anything you wish. So let us know and I will try to troubleshoot with you in everything. So for today, we have a great event in where we will have Professor Yelena and her students from the Middlebury Institute of International Studies who will be sharing with us how they teamed with Tierra Luna Cellars, a winery founded by former astronaut Jose Hernandez. I'm really happy to see them. This sounds to be something really interesting, and I hope that you find it interesting too. Later we will have the Q&A session, so please, if you have any question at all about it, about the presentation and so far, again on the chat box, and we'll come later for the Q&A session. So that's enough for me. Enough of me for you. So I hope that you enjoy the session.
Hi everybody, welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Yelena Proskurin. I have about 10 years of industry experience in localization, project, and program management. And the last 4 of those years, I have been teaching in the localization program at the Middlebury Institute of International Studies here in Monterey, California. And our program in localization specifically next year turns 20 years old. And the program has gone through significant transformation to keep up with the fast pace of the industry. One of the things we'll be talking to you about is one of the offerings we give to our students is through experiential learning. This is one particular project that we're going to present to you today. Is as I was preparing to teach a marketing class, I found out about a winery in Lodi, California. It was a very new winery. I was excited about it because it was started by a former NASA astronaut, Jose Hernandez. And just randomly, I sent him an email asking if he is interested in some marketing work. And in turn, our students would have an opportunity to apply the topics we learn in class directly to a real client, a real project. Basically, I was asking him for a playground, a sandbox. And within an hour, I had a response from him saying he was very excited about that opportunity. And this experiential learning project came out of that, where our students do apply marketing concepts to his company. And I am joined today by 2 of my students, 2 of my colleagues, James Kuba, who is part of the 2-year residential program in localization, and Javier Zamorano, who is in our advanced entry 1-year program. One of my most memorable moments in this project was when Javier and I came to meet astronaut Jose Hernandez for the first time. Back at Facebook, sitting at my desk, I never could have imagined finding myself in this moment, in this warehouse, watching wine get poured into bottles, corked, labeled, and here I am just observing one of my students boss around an astronaut. It was such a humbling experience, absolutely hands down my favorite moment from the project. So without further ado, Javier, let me pass it over to you. Tell us please a little bit about your journey, how you came to the Middlebury Institute and how your role has evolved in this project.
Sure. So I actually started as a Spanish translator, interpreter in the public sector. I've been doing that for a few years. I've always been passionate for languages and technology, bringing those 2 together. So the degree here, the Master's in Translation, Localization Management, was the perfect fit for me. Yes, I've been, building teams, building localization programs in the public sector. Again, that's what brought me to the Middlebury Institute. Knowing about these experiential learning opportunities that exist here. We know that the infrastructure is there, the people are here to provide those opportunities. So that's what kind of led me to the Middlebury Institute. Now, when it comes to this project, I was approached by Professor Yelena to join the project. We really didn't know what I was going to do at the beginning. We were kind of exploring the different options. And then we quickly noticed that I could bring my experience in both the music business and the public sector into the Tierra Luna project. So I started designing a few of the posts that would go out on social media. The website, I came up with a mock-up of a new design for the website. And then that quickly moved into more of a project and program manager role. This is now where we are determining what the needs are of our client. And we're looking at team members and which team members we can use or utilize for specific roles, specific tasks in the projects. I think my most memorable experience has to be waking up at 3, 4 in the morning, going out to the fields and picking grapes. You hear about the story, you watch the movie, a million miles away. It's something else to be there in person, in the fields, and even having lunch, having a burrito with Jose Hernandez. So that's been one of the most memorable experiences for me.
Awesome, thank you. Yes, and so Javier, he very quickly established himself as a leader of this project. Initially, we thought this was going to be entirely a school project, a student project, where myself as the professor just hand out tasks to the students. And very quickly we realized that with Javier's experience, we could turn this into an entirely student-run experience with Javier more or less coming up with the vision for the project, the strategy, and then identifying the talent that he needs for this team. And Javier has built out this team almost exclusively and entirely by himself. So Javier, you've worked with a wide range of different clients. What was the highlight of this particular project?
I think the highlight here was not only working with former NASA astronaut Jose Hernandez, following the success of A Million Miles Away, but after the movie, kind of looking at his needs as a client when it came to social media, his website. We knew that he had much success even with the wine business after the movie, and sales were decreasing a little bit. So he needed that help, and that's why we feel that he liked the idea of us working on his social media, his marketing, and of course providing that access in both English and Spanish was a huge need, a huge request from him. So we made sure to incorporate that into the things that we were doing for him.
Awesome, thank you so much. And a question to both of you. You have vastly different levels of experience. How do you gauge when there's value in working for free? When would you invest in that? And then at what point do you stop? You have already identified that you have provided enough value, and then you request payment for continuing the services. Maybe James, if you could start.
Yeah, sure. So I think being in a master's program in itself is already a big investment. I'm already spending a lot of time and money into this program in order to make sure that I get to my ideal goal in the future. And so I think on one hand, I'm getting that learning experience, but then on the other hand, I am missing that professional experience. And so I think that Tierra Luna Cellars has been a great opportunity for me to actually implement a lot of what I've learned in different classes, for example. So for me, I've considered it a very nice investment. And the fact that, like you said, Javier, it is a very flexible program. It really helps you be able to work in the field that you're hoping to work in, while at the same time also maybe being able to work part-time and earn some money that way as well. Yeah.
And I have to take an example from the music business. Say, for example, you are looking into a band that you want to join. Maybe they're looking for a guitar player. You've played guitar for 10, 15 years. What would be the process to become part of that band? Of course, you would get maybe a list after you demonstrated that interest in that band. You would have to learn the music, 10, 15 songs, a couple of months for that. You wouldn't get paid for any of that. The goal there, the big picture, would be for you to be ready that day, that audition day, and hopefully be part of the band. Once you prove yourself throughout those months, you learning the music, then the main goal would be, to eventually get paid once you join the band. So I take those examples into, localization. Professor Yelena has taught us, bring all of your experiences from life and apply them here. That's one of the main things that I always look at. And same thing here in localization. When I was introduced to this project, I didn't even think about how much would I get paid. It was kind of the long term. What would come after this? What could I learn? I had managed teams before, but I thought this would be a very good opportunity to bring new people in and experiment with the different roles.
That's wonderful. Thank you. So James, how has this project impacted your learning and your career goals?
Very good question. So when I first entered this program, I didn't know very much about localization at all. I was an English teacher in Japan for about 5 years, so I had some management experience, but it was more managing students rather than professionals in a given field. So it's a very different kind of management. But even with things like translation and other elements within localization, I didn't know too much. And so coming into Tierra Luna Cellars and learning about a lot of DTP work, that's where I started, is being a DTPer for Tierra Luna Cellars, which is like a desktop publisher. So I create a lot of content, being like static posts and videos for Instagram, for example. And so it's been a great experience learning that localization is it's not only translation, it's also a lot of creating these posts and then also switching it from English and then making it into, for example, Spanish, because we have a lot of Spanish speakers. So it's been great building my portfolio in that way, and it's been just a great experience for me to figure out okay, maybe I'm more interested in this creative side of localization. So.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So I wanted to share one of the videos that James created. We nominated for the Cannes International Film Festival Award for Marketing and Creativity. So very excited about that. So James, what was your favorite part so far in the project?
I think my favorite part so far has been one of our most recent opportunities. So every month we try to create a new campaign, or our former project manager would create new campaigns every month for us to us desktop publishers to create new content for. And one of our most recent ones was called The Winery, which was kind of a play off of The Bachelor. So we tried to have our different wines from Tierra Luna cellars be kind of candidates to be a bachelor, essentially. And so all of our viewers on Instagram, they got to vote on which one they liked the best. And so that was a really fun, creative process for me to just create posts for. And I think
Even develop like their own personalities and everything.
right, yeah, no, yeah, creating the personalities was very exciting. We did some amazing like photo shoots as well. My co-desktop publisher made some beautiful static video posts and photo posts as well. So I think seeing my growth from recently until a few months ago when I started in the project creating these posts, I had no experience making these. So seeing that growth has been just great for me, I think, yeah.
Absolutely. Can you give me an example of one of the creative challenges the team faced when working on this particular project?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the ones that I thought was the most interesting was our Dia de los Muertos campaign, which is like Day of the Dead campaign that we had. And so I guess for those who don't know Day of the Dead is essentially a holiday mostly celebrated in Mexico where you celebrate your deceased loved ones in a way that maybe they feel alive again. Is that a fair description? Yes. Okay, I just want to make sure, right? So when we were creating the idea for this campaign, there were a lot of different things to consider. We really wanted to make sure that we got it right because a lot of our viewers on Instagram speak Spanish. And so I believe a lot of them are also from Mexico as well. So we just wanted to make sure that we created an authentic experience for our users and created it in an engaging way as well. So something that we considered and ended up being very successful was we called it our virtual altar. So altar was very similar to an ofrenda, which is basically an altar where you put pictures of your deceased loved ones, maybe in your home, maybe outside your home, to celebrate them being in your life. And so you have a lot of elements on that ofrenda. You have the pictures, you have some of the foods. I believe there's some drinks on there as well, maybe candles, beautiful decorations. So we needed to make sure that it looked authentic, that it was an ideal, authentic experience. And so we invited our users to send photos to us directly so that we could put their loved ones on our virtual altar. And yeah, by the end, we just had so much engagement from that. And it was a very exciting time to do that. It was very difficult too, because we had to expand the picture as a result because we got so much engagement. But it was an amazing experience, I think, yeah.
Right. So Javier, then what's next? You're graduating in 4 weeks. What's next for you? What's next for this project? We have lost one of our project managers for the best possible reason. Because of this project, he got what we hope and think is his dream job, specifically in desktop publishing. He's a localization production artist now. So what's next, both for you, for this project?
Well, we've been inspired to start our own business, so we started Mosaica Marketing, the Mosaica Marketing firm. Based on that, we have more clients that we can work with. The plan is to grow this into more of an internship type program where we can bring the talents of the Middlebury students. So that's the plan for now. Trying to determine what those needs are within the clients that we have, and again, bringing the talents of our students to help those clients.
That's fantastic. So a lot more experiential learning opportunities coming out of that. One of my favorite things about these experiential learning projects is, as an instructor, I don't get to see my students perform after they graduate. I don't get to see them at work. I sometimes hear from them on LinkedIn. I see them getting their promotions, but I don't actually get to see them solving problems day in and day out. And this experiential learning project and all of the similar experiential learning projects allow me this window into how my students will perform in the industry, and that makes me very proud. So thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you.
Awesome. So let's go for the Q&A session. Let me bring our incredible speakers. We have first Yelena, Javier, and James. Hi, nice to see you. I think that all of you are muted, so please, Yelena, you muted yourself. Great, Javi and James, just in case, let me tell you that you're muted. First of all, thank you very, very much for joining us today for this Q&A session. Great presentation. The great project that you were managing, it's incredible. It's awesome, definitely. So we have a few questions from the people. Do you wanna start? Is it okay for you?
Yes, yes. Hi, everybody. So the first question, just one second. Can you speak more to the translation and localization side of the project? For example, what was the workflow like? What quality controls were in place? Javier, do you want to start us off with that one?
Absolutely. So for this project, we focused on English and Spanish. These are the main languages that the client, that Jose Hernandez, wanted to start with. Based on the classes that we took, the localization project management classes, we used a few of those established workflows for different content types. So the main content types were static images that we created for Instagram. Um, those usually go through just the regular localization workflow. So first of all, creating the design, the static, extracting the text for translation, for localization. That's sent to translation. It goes through our review process. And we were a very small team, so some of us had double roles, where we had someone translate, other people review. Once we determined we were using more of a creative tone to our posts, then we would post. It is a little different when you're working with video. If you have, for example, subtitles that you're trying to include, getting those scripts for translation. Uh, the workflow is similar, but may take a little longer depending on the type of video. So that was more of the translation, localization workflow part of it. Um, where, of course, depending on the post, depending on the content type, then we would tailor the workflow to that content type.
And the content was bilingual, right? In or your social medias, you have all accounts in English and Spanish, if I'm not wrong, right? That's what I understood.
That is correct to a certain extent. So we explored, you know, with some campaigns we explored the just focusing on English. With other campaigns we explored English and Spanish, having posts which included English and Spanish, having other posts where it was just English, others that were just Spanish that were part of the same campaign. And that was kind of the idea of this sandbox that Yelena mentioned, where we were trying to explore, find ways to increase engagement. And we noticed that our bilingual posts are the most engaging. This is where people are participating a little more in the posts.
I see. So there is also another question from Jonah who says, do you need to know a lot about the winemaking process of the processes used in the vineyards?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. James, how about you?
Yeah, that's a great question. Not particularly, at least in my case. A lot of what we do is Jose gives us a lot of creative liberty to create different types of campaigns that we think will work the best for whatever use case that we have. So, for example, like we have the Dia de los Muertos one, we had the wine alert, we had a lot of different ideas that we kind of come up with on the spot, and not a lot of them necessarily connect to the winemaking process itself. So, yeah, that would be about it, I think. Yeah.
And I think, for just to add to that, when it comes to the translation localization part of it, we of course had to make sure that we were using the correct terminology. A lot of us weren't familiar with that terminology, so that was part of the process, kind of learning. We in this project we gained this new client, so we had to learn everything we could about the client, and that was part of it, learning the terminology, learning the process. We were there, uh, you know, picking grapes. We were there when grapes were getting crushed to create the wine, to put them into these barrels. So we went through that learning process, and this really helped kind of tailor our campaigns. It really helped tailor the language that we were using for all the posts.
And in all of the social media that you used for the marketing campaigns, where did you post mostly?
That's a great question. Sorry, I'm Yelena. um, so we mostly used Instagram. This is where Tierra Luna Sellers has the most, or the greatest following. Um, this is where our target audience is usually found. The other would be Facebook. And we explored a little bit um, in video creation for TikTok, which gave us mixed results. So that's kind of what led us to just focus on Instagram, a few Facebook posts as well, and even improving the website so we could drive traffic from social media to the website.
Awesome, thank you. I have one question. I think this one will be for Jelena. In what conditions would you recommend a freelancer could contact someone like you did with Jose Hernandez to offer their services?
That's a fantastic question. Anybody can contact anybody, right? I was really worried about contacting this astronaut, worried that he's going to. I don't know what I was worried about. That he was going to ignore me, that he wasn't going to respond, that he would say no, which is silly, because if he did any of those things, then I'm left with exactly where I started. And I had a good friend who said, when I was telling him I'm trying to send this message, I'd love to reach out to him, and he said this very basic thing. He's a person too, and the things that you have just said about him, who wouldn't like to hear those things directed their way? Um, and so that pretty much was the push that I needed to send the message. And we've sent many different messages to other partnerships, to try to partner with Tierra Luna Sellers, with, for example, Ferrero Rocher. We wanted to partner with the music group Pentatonics. So we did the same thing, and we didn't get responses, and that's okay too, right? But because this astronaut responded to me one time, I will always hold that with me, and that will always be reason enough to write to anybody.
Oh, that's great. Actually, here in Argentina, there is a phrase that we say a lot that is, we already have the no. We should go for the yes, or try to at least. So I think
I
it
love
goes
that.
with this one. Yeah. Then we have another question from Victor who says, may I know how you post mostly? Did you share the group to groups and page in localization industry?
James, how about you?
When it comes to sharing to groups and different pages in the localization industry, I think that's something that we've been looking into. But at the moment, we mostly focus on our target audience, who's going to be want to buy the wine, who's going to be interested in Jose Hernandez as a person as well. These kinds of things are primarily the things that we're focusing on when it comes to marketing and our localization purposes. Yeah, I would say.
And of course, it could depend on, once we start growing these experiential learning opportunities, it has to do with the client and what their needs are. If it's a business that is tailored more towards the localization industry, then of course we would, target maybe LinkedIn, those types of platforms where we know that the target audience is there. But specifically for this client, for Tierra Luna sellers, we know that the target audience is there. So that's one of the biggest reasons why we kind of chose to stay there, and again drive that traffic to the website, because ultimately what we want to do for the business is to increase sales and raise that brand awareness.
Well, actually, there is another incredible great question from Joanna, who says that Facebook and Instagram, is that mostly to individual clients? Would you use different channels if the winery was looking for business to business, for example, export?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. For Facebook and Instagram, yes, that is mainly for individual clients. For business to business, that is a slightly different channel. Like, for example, to get the wine into Costco, to get it into Rayleigh's, to get it into resorts, for example, in Mexico, completely different channels. More so, sometimes cold calling, sometimes through an agent, sometimes through a distributor. So no social media when it comes to business. So this is all individual.
Ah, great. And then we have Sophia, who asks, do you find social media better than others to post about wine and localization? Are they the same for English or for Spanish?
Javier, do you want to try that one?
This goes back to
Yeah.
where your target audience is. Requires a little bit of research. Also, personal experience, speaking to family. Of course, we weren't going to target our content to, like, I don't know, Snapchat or a platform like that, where we know, uh, especially with something like Snapchat, there's a lot of young people that may not be 21 and over. So we're working with an alcoholic beverage company, so we had to be very careful as to how we tailored our messaging, our content. And we know that kind of people my age are on Facebook and Instagram. That's basically the target audience. So yeah, that's why we decided to just stay there, focus on there, and play around with the different types of posts you can have. Like your carousel stories, reels, and then of course looking at language and how a post created in Spanish might have more engagement than a post created in English. But it depends on what you're talking about, right? So um, this is one of the, I think, greatest strengths here, that it's very flexible. You are able to change based on what you're seeing, based on the analytics and the numbers that you're seeing.
Mhm.
I had just one thing to add. So, Javier, you touched on a very interesting point. You said people my age. Well, why people your age, right? So, anybody over 21 is a potential target audience for wine. But so, as we were learning in our marketing class, the 5 P's of marketing, one of the 5 P's is price. And through this playground of first marketing this wine as your everyday wine, right? We celebrate Monday, let's drink this wine. We celebrate Tuesday, let's drink this wine. And then we realized that at the price point that it sells, it is not your everyday wine. And it's not a wine that a 21-year-old who just graduated from college can possibly afford on a daily basis. So through that playground, we kind of learned that Snapchat, Snap, TikTok, sorry, that's not our target audience, because we are looking more towards well-established working professionals who could afford this bottle of wine at the price point that Jose Hernandez has set. So that was a really interesting shift from the beginning of the project to where we are now.
That's great, actually. Yeah, true. And talking about marketing, if I work mostly in localization, for example, what courses of study or what new team members will I need in order to provide a more comprehensive set of services as you have done with Tierra Luna?
Hmm, that's a great one. Javier, James?
Yeah, no, I think that's a great. So for the purposes of, like similar to Sierra Luna, is that what you're saying for localization purposes?
Yes, so if I mostly work in localization, let's say that I'm a translator that only works in English to Spanish, I do know about marketing, but not that much. What kind of team member or study should I have in order to provide a more comprehensive set of services, like to give the full experience to this client?
Yeah, so I think, well, of course, things like desktop publishing, I think, would be a very a useful thing to have, like being able to adjust, for example, static posts with the extractable text, being able to change it from different languages and being able to maybe recenter it. Maybe for languages like right to left, if you have that kind of target audience as well, you'll need to know how to adjust for that. Um, yeah, and being able to check for that kind of quality and be able to control the quality that you serve there. Yeah, being able, having translators, of course, is very important for that situation. Having the right like project management system, maybe figuring out what kind of system you need. For example, do you need Jira, or can you maybe deal with something more simple? Yeah, I think, yeah, management, uh, and yeah, desktop publishing, translation. These are kind of the primary ones I would say would be very useful
That's
skills to
great.
have. Very useful. Yeah.
hmm Yeah, yeah, awesome, awesome. And I have one more question. Um, if I'm a freelancer who mostly works on my own, is there something from this project that I should be able to apply to my work? Let's say, what will you say that from working from this project, now that you are going to start working by your own, you take from this project?
I think that just based on my experience as a translator, I started as a translator and interpreter first, English and Spanish. I think we're used to in that field. We're used to working all by ourselves a lot of the time, and I think we need to incorporate more of the team work, where you just talked about localization teams and how to have a successful team. Yes, like James mentioned, DTP is very important. You have to have a very talented team of DTPers to create those designs, but they also have to be willing to learn. And every member of that team has to be willing to learn. Um, yes, your DTP translators and reviewers. Again, you have to have very talented people, and they have to be willing to learn. And then, of course, kind of the management part of it, more of the vision, more of the kind of general view of the whole project. Where is this project going? If you're a freelancer, you have to take all that into consideration. How, uh, if you want to offer more services as a freelancer, how do you find those team members, people that you can trust, um, people that you can work on bigger projects? Be a little more profitable if you can offer those services. But yeah, I would say find people you can trust. They don't have to be the top people. You don't want the stars all the time, because that's something that you can always work on. It's something that you can learn along the way. So that would be my recommendation, just coming from the translation, the linguist perspective to more of the management side of things. Just always be a team player. Always try to work with a team.
Awesome. And there's one more question from Joanna who says, does your team work together physically on site or do you meet mostly online?
Javier?
I don't want I don't want to overtake the whole meeting, but this was very interesting. So I was an online student, here at Middlebury, and I always wondered, how am I going to connect with other people at Middlebury, people who are there, very lucky to take classes in person. So, I work full time. I would not be able to complete my degree in person. That would not be an option for me. So, I think it's Yelena's fault that we all came together and were able to work on this project. Like we said in the recording, she reached out to us, kind of connected all of us, and this is just kind of a smaller scale of what you'll find out in the industry, where companies are working globally.
Mhm.
People might be working on the other side of the world, so you have to be flexible again. And that's kind of what we did here. I've been located in Long Beach, California. The rest of the team was in Monterey. We had DTPers that were in Texas as well. So it was an amazing practice for us, getting that experience, so that when we go out into the industry or continue working in the industry, we've gained that experience.
No, okay, that's great. Awesome. I think that those are all the questions that we have for today. And well, here we have a comment from Abby who says, "Great to hear from another former online student. Hello from an OLPM student." So Abby says hi. And well, thank you so much for your time and for taking time to come here to answer the people's questions and for giving your perspective on this subject, because it is something that many translators may want to give the first step, but they don't know how to, or they know where to start. I think this will help them a lot, and it was a really really great experience, that the one that you had to experience. So thank you so much in general.
Yeah,
Thank you.
our pleasure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
So I hope to have you again in the near future to ask with us again. And thanks. I hope to see you soon. So bye. Bye,
Thank you
guys.
Thank
very much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Take care.
Great. Awesome. So these were Yelena, James, and Javier, who shared with us their experience while working in this specific project in a winery. Thank you so much to all of you too, for tuning in today and for being with us today and sharing your comments, your questions, and for also give your perspective of these things. So, uh, before going to the end, I just want to repeat myself a little bit in case that you weren't able to join at the beginning of this event. So, if you've been wondering, yes, this session is being recorded, and you will be able to watch it shortly after we are finished. Please just take into consideration that the recording will be available for everyone for the first 24 hours, and after this period of time, it will be only available for our membership subscribers. And yeah, I think that's all the important stuff that I had to say. Thank you so so much for being with us today, and thanks a lot. And I hope to see you again very very soon. So with that being said, I hope to see you soon. One more thing. In case that you are an interpreter and you haven't seen it yet so far, let me share with you our upcoming event that it will be about interpreting. It is called The Human Voice in a Changing World, Interpreting with Heart in 2025. I'm leaving there the link so you can register. I will be your host again. You will have to see my face again, but there will be we will have a lot of incredible sessions from experts and leaders of the industry, and practical insights and so on. So I really really hope to see all of you there too. Now, with that being said, thank you one more time for being here with me today, and I hope to see you again very very soon. Bye. Kisses.
My name is Yasmina Georgievich, and I've been a PROS member since 2009. During all these years, I've managed to broaden and expand my career in many different ways. I've acquired new skills, new techniques that I've learned from working with other colleagues, and I've had the opportunity to build new contacts, to broaden my network, and to work with various agencies. So obviously, being a member of PROS brings a lot of benefits. And as a member, you have access to many different activities and trainings and other options available through PROS. And I heartily recommend you join this very, very large community and experience all the benefits that the membership can bring you. So I highly recommend you join PROS and experience for yourself. You will not regret it.
Hello, my name is João Paulo. I'm based on Fortaleza, Ceará, Brazil. Well, I'm very glad of being part of PROZ network because it's been very rewarding, so financially and also professionally speaking. Well, I work with, I'm Brazilian native, so I work with Portuguese from Brazil, and I also work with English and Italian and Spanish and French, and I am a translator and an interpreter, so and I'm very keen on being of service to all of you, all the companies and all the colleagues making part of this huge network called ProZ.com. Thank you very much indeed. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Claudia Brower. I'm a veteran of the translation and interpreting industry. My language pair is English-Spanish, and I want to tell you what is so special about PROS.com and its membership. And it's because you make community, you access training, you access job board, and a lot of important clients that are out there are getting their translators and interpreters through PROS.com. You've got a large community of fellowships that can discuss the things that are going on today that you want to be a part of. And you have access to so much training. I mean, the training that's on PROS.com is invaluable. And that includes, of course, my training. I'm not only a member, I'm also a trainer. And it's invaluable, the training that you can access. So you can connect with clients, you can expand your network, you can find job opportunities, you have the job board, you can showcase your skills, you can have forum, you have webinars. And it's really, really something that if you want to, improve upon your connections, because nowadays it's all about community connections, please think about what's best for you, and the PROS.com membership is really important. I really would like to impress upon you that it's important for you to be part of a group of people with your same interests at hand. That's what calls my attention about PROS.com, that they really have my best interests. I can access those things that really talk to my best interests.